Hey everyone, today I have a super quick and super practical tip to have more time and more money in your life. Now, the first step that we need to take before we start this hour, you're going to literally start a timer of an hour. But you're not going to do that yet. Before you start this exercise, it's really crucial that you determine why you want more time and why you want more money in your life. And you might be thinking, well, doesn't everyone want more time and more money in their life? Couldn't we all use more time and more money? Yes, I'm sure we all absolutely could. I know I could. But the key here is there's no point in having more money or more time if what you do with it is not going to make your life better. So, money in and of itself, the paper or maybe the number that's listed on the balance of an account, does not make us happier, does it? You might be like, well, if my account had a higher number, I'd be happier. Well, those numbers in and of themselves don't actually make us happier. They can produce things in our lives that make us happier. And even having more money in your savings account or in your emergency fund or in your investment portfolio could make you happier. But those are specific items. So, right now, I encourage you to write down two things. You may want to pause this video. The first thing is what you would do with more money in your month. And the second thing is what you would do with more time in your month. Would you start a new hobby, that hobby you've always been thinking about doing and you've never gotten around to? Would you start a band? Would you put your money in your emergency fund? Would you put your money in an investment account? Would you put it toward your favorite charity? So the reason for this is to give you motivation. As you're going through this next hour, this exercise, it's important to remember this is what I'm working for. Not just to have just more money, more time for the heck of it, but to actually have better things in your life. This will keep you motivated, and it will also keep you accountable, because once you see the new money and the new time that's in your life, you're going to be tempted to waste it or squander it on things that are not as important. So kind of keep yourself accountable right now before you do this exercise and say, okay, when I have more money at the end of this exercise, this is what I want to do with it. And I'm saying that right now before the temptation sets in, and make a conscious effort, because in order to have a radiant life, we have to have a conscious life. That means we make conscious decisions. We don't just spend our money on what might come up or what might not come up. We don't just spend our time on what might come up and what might not come up. Having a radiant life means living an intentional life, doing things on purpose. So that's what this part is about. So once you've written down what you would do with your money and what you would do with your time when you have more of it, it's time to set your timer. Now, this part you probably want to do after you watch the full video, so I wouldn't start your timer now. But the reason for starting a timer is to really kind of light a fire under your ass. When there's a timer going and it's going to go off in an hour, then you will not procrastinate and you will not be tempted to return to this at a later time. Commit to the 1 hour. Commit to that. So you're going to set your timer, not right now, after this video, and here's what you're going to do. Step 1. That previous one was like step 0, okay? So this is step 1. Is to make 2 lists. The first list is everything you spend your time on. That could be parenting, it will be your job, it will be your side hustle, it will be your exercise class, it will be your time at the gym, it will be time with friends, it will be your monthly charity club, your Kiwanis or your Lions Club, it will be your weekly date night with your spouse, it will be literally everything, even watering your plants, feeding your dog, everything you do, okay? Write down as many things as you can think of. And you might want to give yourself just a couple minutes for that. The second list is going to be everything you spend your money on every month. Okay, this is going to be your internet bill. This is going to be your mortgage or your rent. This is going to be your groceries, your restaurant, your going out budget. It's going to be your student loans, your credit card payments, everything, your coffee budget. Nothing is too small for this. But if it's something that you regularly spend money on, then put it on the list. You may even want to include things like birthday gifts or Christmas gifts, something that you could put into a monthly amount. Now, the easiest and best way to make this second list of money is to start an account with mint.com. I am not an affiliate with Mint, although honestly I should be with the amount that I recommend it. I personally use Mint to manage my monthly budget, and it is hands down, it's just absolutely fantastic. It will show you an inventory of everything that you spend money on and all of the things that you care about. So look, this is a hard thing. I recently wrote a blog article about how to get started with budgeting, and I can link to it in the description below. And it is hard to do, but you can do it. You're going to guess, you're going to use the tips that are in that blog post that I wrote that I will link to, and you are going to kick butt on this step. I'm giving you a little bit of pep talk with this because it's not easy, but you can do it because you are ready to have more money in your life. Yes? If so, you need to take an inventory of what you're actually spending money on now. It's the only way. How can you make more money in your budget if you don't even know where your money is going? So once you do this, it doesn't have to be perfect. Then you are ready for step 2. Step 2 is to look at every single one of these items on both lists. That is, both lists, the time list and the money list. And the money list may be in Mint, or it may be on a sheet of paper, or it may be in an Excel spreadsheet, wherever it is. You're going to take inventory of every single one of these things, and you're going to ask yourself if it still needs to remain in your life. Okay, now since you've been spending money on these things every month, then probably your answer is going to be yes. So I've put together a few questions for you to help you make this a little easier. So for things that you are spending time on and things you're spending money on, here are some questions you can ask. 1, is this something I look forward to every month, or is it something that I dread? Now, this works really well with time obligations, but it could also apply to money. So, for example, if you go to a weekly community meeting and you've been going to it for a decade, okay, do you dread going to that, or do you look forward to doing it? Another question to ask yourself, does this bring me joy overall? That's a little different because sometimes we dread things that are actually good for us, like, for example, going to the gym. But does this bring me joy? Yes, I feel pumped afterwards because I'm taking care of my body. It releases endorphins, so I'm feeling like I can take on the world, and it gives me a way to process my thoughts and kind of let everything in my mind simmer. Okay, so those are some questions you can ask yourself. And you might ask yourself this too. What are the reasons that I initially started doing this thing? So think back to why you first started doing this and think if those things still apply to you. So for example, I was going to a weekly meeting here where I live in Oklahoma City, and I enjoyed it pretty well. I liked it most of the time, but I started doing this very inventory in my life. The same thing you're going to be doing when you are done watching this video, I did on my life. And I was like, why did I start going to this in the first place? Well, I started going because I was working by myself, alone. I was working alone in an office alone all day, every day, and I needed some social interaction in my life. Secondly, I was doing a lot of networking in the city to get more clients for my business because local clients were useful for my business at the time. And I realized that neither of those two reasons exist anymore. I no longer work alone because I have a job in the city where I work in an office with lots of other people, so I no longer need that in my life. And I also no longer focus on a local market for my business, which is now my side hustle. So once I looked at the reasons why that was in my life in the first place, I realized, that served me at the time, but it no longer serves my life. Okay, so that's just to give you a little bit of help in eliminating some things from your things that take up time and your things that take up money. The third step is to decommit. Decommit. And I got this tip from Success Resources America. I'm involved in their seminars, and I learned all about decommitting from them. And that is a hard part because that means that you have to choose some things that take up your time and take up your money to eliminate from your life. And then you have to talk to those people and maybe quit something. Decide to quit this opportunity. Maybe you want to quit your gym and get a cheaper gym membership. So, we didn't talk very much about money in the last step, but this is your opportunity to eliminate some things in your budget that don't need to be there. For example, maybe you will find some monthly subscriptions that you paid for a while back and completely forgot about. You can cancel that. Maybe you're finding that your cable or your internet subscription could be reduced. So recently I looked at my internet cost and I was talking to my brother and he said, you could probably do a lower package and still not experience any decrease in the quality of your internet connection at home. And so I called my cable company or internet company and I got that reduced. And there was an extra 15, 20 bucks in my monthly budget. So look at your budget and determine the things that you can live without and reduce them from your budget. There's a lot more information in this in my latest blog post about setting a budget. So I will let you look at that. But then the final step is to decommit and to put that money and time toward the things that you talked about in step 0. How did you say you wanted to spend your time if you had more time? How did you say you wanted to spend more money if you had more money? And now you know exactly how you can do that because you have more time, you have more money. Now, is it the amount that you need to buy a new car or to start going to the gym 5 days a week or whatever? Maybe not, probably not, but it's a start. So put it toward, maybe you want to start a fund where you can put that monthly amount in a savings account every month toward a car. Or maybe you can't go to the gym 5 days a week, but maybe you can go 3 or 2 times a week. That's a start, and it's probably better than you were doing before. So that's an improvement, and that's what personal development is all about. Improvement, progress, not perfection. So this was 12 or 13 minutes that I hope was very useful to you. And now schedule this hour into your life. If you can't do it right now after watching this video, look at your calendar right now and find 1 hour when you can take this inventory of your time and your money and you can make your life better in just 1 hour. So I hope this was useful to you. I would love, love, love if you took this advice and did this inventory. What were the results for you? What were you able to do that you weren't able to do before? What goals were you able to set for yourself? How much money, how much time were you able to create using this inventory? Let me know in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. Talk to you next time.